everybody, to the Money Strong Podcast, the show designed to help you build real confidence and control of your money. My name is Dr. Bryan Foltice, and I am your host and financial coach that's here to help you ditch your fear and grow your wealth with purpose. Whether you're paying off debt, building up savings, or just trying to stress less about money. If you find this episode helpful, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and share it with somebody who's ready to get money strong too. Let's jump in to today's episode. Hi everybody, welcome back. We're going to take a closer look today at our money motivation and our memories. So buckle up because we are going to get deep into our past and our experiences and have a better understanding on what that does to drive our financial decisions today. So we're going to break this down into money motivation, money memories as well, and how they interplay and interlock with each other. I hope you're ready to go today. We're going to jump right in. So, when we think about our money memories, I want you to think about what is your first memory of money going back to your childhood. So, what is the first money memory that you have? And these it might not be pretty. For most of us, it's not. It's not pretty. A lot of our first memories of money are somebody saying that you can't buy something because we don't have enough, or maybe it's the electricity going out, or because your parents couldn't pay the bills. Something like this. Some of your first memories around this. And I always remember growing up feeling like we were just getting by, paying enough, and there was a real spirit of miserly, of real, there's frugal and then there's just cheap. And I got that sense of, really being cheap. And when something would go on sale, especially in the summertime, when my dad was a middle school teacher, so he had time during the summer, and he would basically just fill up our basement. We called it the junk room, but it was a little pantry that we had down in our basement, would fill it with whatever that item was. And so I remember having the summer of Alphabets cereal because that was all we had to eat. And there obviously was a big sale on Alphabet cereal. And to this day, as a 44-year-old, I still cannot look at that box and not have my stomach do a little somersault looking at that, because the soggy Alphabets, and even there was Alphabets marshmallows that still, I can picture it, and you can see me if you're watching the video here, you can see my body kind of like shriveling up. So anyway, these memories are really influencing how we become, or they absolutely become our defaults if we don't step back, address it, and change. Okay, so they leave deep emotional imprints, these first memories. And so as you broaden not just your first memories, you think about how money was like when you were growing up. So what did that look like for you? And once again, this is not an easy subject to talk about. This is probably not a feel-good subject for a lot of us, because in my world, we never talked about it. You got the sense that there wasn't really an abundance of it. We're just kind of hanging on and just white knuckling through every month. And if we had to do a camp or something, there was really strain to make that happen. And my parents really wanted to make me know, the sacrifice that they were making. And so sometimes we might even think about, you've heard people say we don't have enough, or even more broadly, money is the root of all evil. And so you get all of these hardwired into your brain. And don't beat yourself up or don't be surprised when you see that reoccurring in your brain when you get older as an adult, whether you're in your 20s, in your 40s, or in your 60s. It's going to be hardwired in your brain. And so on the positive side, was it a good source? Did you have good memories about it? Did you talk to your parents about it? I hope so. Maybe some of you are like that. I certainly did not. And really have had to go through a lot of the negative experiences, but also this is why I'm here, to be able to talk about this and to be able to say that, man, it took me some work to rewire things and to go back, understand what happened in the past, and to look at it in a different view and in a different way, and now to see how life has improved because of it. Okay, so and again, parents, were they good savers? Did they spend everything? Did they hide things? Did they share it? I always got the sense that whatever my parents could save, they would save it. And they would really, and my fists all tied together here, because they really valued that savings. And guess what? When I moved into adulthood and started saving money, man, I would just white knuckle and hang on to that savings like it was worth not putting it at risk. I know that's how you make your money grow, but I just valued that savings so much that I didn't want to put any of it at risk. So we had to work through things on letting it go, letting it come back, letting it flow, all these things. But again, rewiring from my real, we call it scarcity. So kind of have the scarcity mindset. If I let it go, it will never come back, essentially, is what have been working through. And but again, all these money memories matter. And so these create our money story on what our story is about money and what we believe about money. And our beliefs, as we're going to learn, are going to shape our behaviors, and it just becomes this loop that replays itself over and over again if we don't step in and change those things. So next, we're going to be talking about our money motivations. Okay, so now we're going to take our memories, and it kind of moves us into our motivations. I've got 6 motivations here on characteristic types. Number 1, I went straight for the one that appeals to me the most. It's security driven, safety, avoiding risk, saving, but not investing, saving it. And there's some pitfalls to that, but it's security driven. I had felt that if I saved money, it would give me a source of security. And I just wanted that, and I valued that, and it was a security-driven, money motivation. Number 2 is freedom seeker. So you're seeking freedom, values independence, may avoid financial commitments. You just want freedom. And so this could be, if you value independence, you could do this in a couple of different ways. You could live off the grid in a tent to avoid financial commitments, and that's your freedom. Or your independence, if you use your money, you can get it into a spot where it's working for you and you are earning enough so you don't have to work. So once again, you can see this in 2 different dynamics, but a freedom seeker is looking for independence, whether they actually have wealth or if they're not, they're just wanting to avoid commitment. I value independence, flexibility in life, but I feel like I don't think I avoid financial commitments. Anyway, number 3, status oriented. Status oriented. This is using money or motivated to give us status symbols. So I want to be making money so then I can have this big car or flaunt my nice clothes or whatever, big house, status symbols that people will see that I am making money or that I'm being successful and status oriented. And I see that a lot as well. People want to make money so then they can show their status. Avoider. You could be an avoider where you can procrastinate or avoid money decisions altogether. Now, an avoider comes from shame and anxiety. And like I said before, we're going to have a whole video and podcast devoted towards shame and anxiety. But just understanding that there are some avoiders. And as much as I am here saying, oh, I'd love to talk about this, I also recognize that there were some areas in my life that I avoided to talk about, and they led to some real negative consequences. If you have a bad experience or something happens and you try to bury it or avoid it, you can tell how it's going to play out. Same thing with our finances here. And you could be an avoider. You could also be a giver. Now, you could be generous, often putting your own needs ahead of, putting others' needs ahead of your own. And that's a really great quality to have. Now, I will say that sometimes the downside to being a giver is sometimes if you put others ahead of you without taking care of yourself, it will come as a deficiency. Or sometimes, and it'll just leave you depleted. And sometimes you'll see people taking jobs in areas that they say, well, I'm going to be a social worker. I'm going to help people. Therefore, I don't deserve to make a good living or enough money. Okay, so this is this giver motivation that has its downsides as well. Although we're going to be talking about giving in a future episode. And I want us to understand where that fits into our lives. And when we talk about personal finance, giving is very, very personal. So I don't have a one answer for everybody, but we'll start to dissect that and move into that area in a future episode. Finally, we have an optimizer focused on efficiency, strategy, and growth. Who the hell does that? No, I'm just kidding. Optimizer is probably a computer. I don't know. I try to optimize. I try to be efficient. And I'm a human being, I still fall short. And so, but nevertheless, if you have this efficiency motivation, if you do, I don't know, let me know what that looks like. But essentially what we're trying to do here is we want to have a certain component of optimization and efficiency, especially in our finances. And I realize that with anything else, if you're working out, motivation is great, but it's very fleeting. Consistency is what will actually give you results. So saying whatever, if that's in your job or your finances or in your fitness, consistency is the one that will win over time because motivation fluctuates up and down. Anyway, those are the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and your motivation will change over time, but at least we're starting to think about what your money motivation is and how that might be shaping us. So we talked about memories, talking about motivation, and having this awareness is going to hopefully help us make better decisions. That's our first step. If we need to change some of our beliefs, this is our first step of the process. And it also will help us understand some of our emotional triggers, what sets us off, why it sets us off. It helps us to avoid patterns that don't serve us. And once again, recognizing, hey, this is good, don't touch it. This is not good. Let's address how we might be able to change this and why we want to change that. And we're trying to build these habits, this consistency that aligns us and gives us our values, gives us some goals that we're looking for, and doing this in a way that moves us forward. And so once again, it's really important to remember that your value is not tied to your net worth. Okay, so you are very important. You are very special. And wherever you are at in your finances or in your financial well-being journey, in your life journey, do not get where you're at mixed up with your actual value and your worth. Okay. So I'm going to leave it at that. We'll talk again later. Hope you all are doing great, and we'll see you on the next video.